Card Market is Europe's largest platform for all TCGs. Always find the right cards by buying and selling them across Europe with other players and collectors. Be it singles, boosters, booster boxes, or any other accessories, you name it. Card Market is the place to get them safely, securely, and readily available.
What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and I'm here with Diogo, who took Blue Beerus to the 7th place, to the top 8 of the European finals. Hi, Diogo. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Really happy with my achievement, and I got to play my favorite color and my boy, so everything's great.
Oh, I'm so hyped to see this deck. I was telling people Blue Beerus is amazing. With Anniversary Box support, it's amazing. So, take us through the deck.
Okay, so I'll start by going through the leader. Some of the people might not know, since it's a reboot from set 9, I think. So, on the front side is like the old ones. You need to swing at the leader, and then from the two modes, you can choose one. Mm-hmm. You either get to draw a card, or get to kill a 2-drop or less. You will usually draw a card, because, well, you will most of the time just swing once at the front side, but the kill spell is useful if you want to get rid of a Nova or a rush attack Vegeta that's lost on the field. You get to awaken at either 4 or less life, draw 1 and tap 1, or you can also awaken when you have 4 or more energy, which might also come up sometimes if you're playing against a more passive matchup. On the awakened side, when you swing, now you can swing at anything. You get to choose to either kill a 3-drop or less, or you draw 1 card. Mm-hmm. You have the meme win con, which is play 16, win the game, but it's actually a real win con at the moment, so keep that in mind. And you have a permanent. If your opponent is at 4 or less life, this leader cannot deal damage. If the damage would pass, you just ramp 1. And this is not an optional effect, since it's a permanent, so keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. So I'll start by the most important part of the deck, which is the Z deck, because it's the reason this deck gets to play at the moment. So, for Wiz, this card is amazing. Even if the leader itself ends up being a little less powerful than, for example, Reboot Coup or SS3, this card makes up for it.
Yeah, it's so like objection in hand always. It's insane.
Yes. It's the only ramp deck that gets guaranteed ramp for no reason. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pay life, waste hand, nothing. You just ramp. So Wiz from on high, it's a 2-drop. If your leader is a mono blue Beerus and all of your energy is mono blue, when he's played, you get to ramp 1 blue battle card from your drop area to your energy, either in rest mode. And he also has a removal effect where you can remove him from game to top deck 4 or less battle cards. Mm-hmm. This effect is relevant because it kills a lot of early game threats, so you ramp and you start dealing with stuff. The top deck effect, some people think it's not very good because they will just draw the threat again. I would usually like to think if they're drawing that card, they're not drawing a worse threat. For example, if you drop deck a 4-drop scene, at least it's not a 8-drop scene. So...
yeah.
For the rest of the deck, I play 1 Vegito, 1 Cell, and 1 Mai. Vegito is just the generic blue boss monster. In case you don't have Blitz or other powerful cards, you can just throw him out. Mm-hmm. Cell is good against Go White decks that are on the 5 or less threshold and don't have barrier. It's one of the cards that comes up less. But you should still have it because it's really good when it's really good.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's my emergency dirty burst. When you have a trunks, future trunks on your Z energy, you can pay one. And she's on the field. Activate main. You can negate the first swing of a 5 or more battle card. Against Gogeta, Xeno, and Sin, this most of the time means Gogeta GT. Mm-hmm. This most of the times means you're negating their 8-drop, which means they cannot play the 8-drop. They can play around it by playing the secret and then playing the Gogeta, but for a 1-cost battle card, she gets a lot of value. And sometimes she can still pressure with 15k, which is nice. Going through the main deck now. I play 4 of the old ramp whiz, and to go with it, 3 Bulma. Bulma fetches the whiz, but the best part of the Bulma is that she's an actual deck search, so you can check your deck state. This deck really likes to play around its secret, so at turn 1, you get to play her, see where your secret is, if it's on the deck or on the life, and then you also get the whiz back. The core is you need to always open a cantrip because you can block with it, leader swing, or you can just swing, pressure something, and then you already have your 1 Z energy to ramp. And then for my last cantrip, I think it's a little bit of an unusual card. It's the Draft Box Tour, Extra Evolution Booster 1, Bergamo.
Okay.
So this card is a cantrip at its basic, but he also has a really relevant permanent. During my turn, for each energy on the field, which means mine or my opponent's, it goes up by 2k. This might seem like irrelevant because also at the turn 1 it's like an 8k, but then when we have really explosive turns with like 10 energy and your opponent has 4, now he's like with 18 energy, he goes like to 36k. So it starts getting really dangerous for the cantrip. So the double dip potential is huge, and most of the decks end up on this slot playing like a limited challenger, which is only 15k. So and the block isn't really relevant in my opinion. So I would rather just play a cantrip that ends up being a boss fight. Next, for my mid game cards, the cards.
Yeah, the standard.
Yeah, standard. Everyone already knows, but it's a blocker double strike that draws the card and taps 1, and also gets the bottom deck. We play one card that has really great synergy with this one. So it makes him even better. But as it is now, this card is just the blue unison. Unless you're playing like Gamma, I don't think you should be playing a deck that isn't playing. And well, you can also play like, for example, Zeno or Eats and then curve into unison. But that's really not a good tempo swing in my opinion. The other blue card that's every blue deck now is playing, SS for Vegeta, is a blocker 30k. On play, you get to check the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you can choose to add any of them to your energy, and the remaining blue cards go to your hand. This card is just insane for combo plays, allows you to run 4. It just makes the deck really explosive. This deck has one edge that, for example, Ributku doesn't have. You can ramp 4 with him, ramp an extra 1 because you have a 2-cost ramp, and with the extra 2 energy, you untap. Now you have 11 energy, while most of the blue decks only get 10. And at the end game, if you're already on a comfortable position to win the game, you can just play him for a blocker and draw 4. So it's always a good card. Yeah, and also pressures at 30k. So one of the first boss monsters of the deck, Blitz.
Amazing.
This is the deflect triple side blocker barrier on play that always draws 1, and then for each mono blue extra card on the drop area, for each extra card on your drop area gets the bottom deck of cards, and you get to play him for 4 if you don't have any battle cards on your drop area. So if you have unisons or extra cards, any extra card, it gets to be played by 4. So most of the times your choice will be either on turn 4 to play one of each. If they have a big board, I usually advise to play this one because you get to clean the board and the pressure with the triple strike, either being at the leader or at the unison. But if the game state is stable, like you won the die roll and your whiz got to top deck a threat, just go for the blue. And tech choice I used, I played the Interceptor. I was between him and the 4-drop Goku Pike one, but in the end I saw that Wolfang Fist started being really popular in the meta and the barrier didn't really matter, so I went with the Vegeta. You will not play this card most of the time, but it's a good emergency button where you need to kill two things. And well, 20k duel, it's good to slay unisons as well. One card I found really important to this deck was this Overwhelm. It's an old one and it's usually played on aggro decks, but on here it makes a lot of sense. So on play, you get to draw 2 on each one. This card makes 2 things. First, it always cleans your drop area for Blitz.
Yes.
And allows you to dump an extra card, so it makes clean Blitz. And second, this deck plays a lot of extra cards that I will go through later. So unbreaking your hand sometimes is really a thing you need to do. And otherwise, just 20k swing. You can do whatever you want with it. Pressure SS4 card that's on rest mode, pressure Unison, or just swing at the leader and put 5k if you want to reduce your life.
Nice.
And then the boss monster. The legend, Turning the Tides.
Of course.
The secret rare.
Nice.
And the best boss monster in blue, but it's locked, the Wiz.
Oh, the big one. Yeah.
Yeah. So this creates a triple angle end board. So most of the times, if your opponent isn't respecting you and you get to your Vegeta ramp turn, you can just throw in a Vegeta into Secret, into Turning the Tides, and this kills most of the people. But if you need... But this play doesn't get around the Cunnings or Jiren or etc. So that's where Wiz gets in. Wiz allows you to play around the Cunnings because it's an extra turn, so you can just slap Wiz, pass the turn, Turning the Tides. Or if you get to stabilize, you can just pressure a lot with Wiz. It complements the issues of these 2 cards with another one. It's the hardest one to pull off, but I think this is the card that if it gets played, you won. There's no way people are coming down for an extra turn, a 40k quadruple that cannot be negated. It's really insane. And well, Turning the Tide is Turning the Tide, and this secret, it's the secret that made people starting to play the Cunnings. Otherwise, it's just insane. Even then, some people like to play around the Cunnings, not play this and playing Baby Hatch. But what I usually tell people is, if I'm playing this under 1 Cunning, this is an overall 10, since I have to work 10. And the Bardock overarm that's actually banned was an overarm 6 for 25k dual attack. This is a 40k triple attack. So this seems like a super Bardock, so I will always play this as an overarm 10, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Now, for the super combos, Vegeta.
Yeah.
We're on aggro meta, so the 4 or less life is always online. I'm playing a control deck, so I always play this. The Xeno on tap is useful, but doing the neg 1 on hands, it's not worth it. You really need to draw cards in. So either to get your combo pieces or just unbreak your hand. Do a lot of stuff that Xeno cannot do. To God Sealing. It's really not a good time for God Seal because I don't really care about floodgates, but sometimes it's good to deny a crown with God Seal or stop any floodgates really. And he always has niche cases that people sometimes tend to forget to play around because, well, God Seal is not good, so people will not play around God Seal, which is here's God Seal, now I broke your turn.
Yeah, everything big now has deflect, so it's...
Yes. But it's there. And he also has the synergy automation in the beginning with Mai.
Yeah.
Now, for the control cards, the big spicy one, Pilaf.
Oh, so here comes the spice.
Okay, so I cannot say how important Pilaf is. Like, this card is just insane. On a counter attack, you get to remove any keyword. It doesn't matter if the card is deflect or buried. You just choose one and remove it. This effect all happens on the counter window, so even if you get counterplayed here, it does not matter, you will always remove. Why is this huge? Because the counter window comes first and your auto window. So, which means now Boo can bottom deck barrier cards.
Nice.
Like, this is insane, it's great against Vegito. When people just bump the barrier crit on 8 drops in, Pilaf plays around, that's really good. And also serves as an emergency button when you have one energy and you get to play that new deck that's going around, the Exodia set 6 Gogito nonsense. You can just drop Pilaf, remove triple strike, you're fine. You're not dying that turn.
Nice.
This card is really, really good.
Super spicy.
Yes. And also has some good synergies in case you don't have who. Because you can just, for example, remove a barrier from a Z Vegeta battle card. And then, well, you have the Realm of the Gods, which is an activate battle bottom deck 2 or less. So if you remove Barrier from Vegeta, even if you're on kill range, that makes them think if they want to push or if they want to respect the battle card. You can use that as a mind game or use that as an actually, no, that swing will not go through. For the rest of negates, 4 dimension magic, I think it's mandatory. The best negate in the game.
Yes.
In my opinion, the sparking thing is not coming as much as I wanted because people are starting to take that King Vegeta that negates 1 drop negates that aren't paid. But since all your mid game cards plates or blue and tap 1, it's usually no problem. Just pay 1 and get your 2. Do mind that sometimes in later turns you will use this as a with coercion because you will want to play around the crown. This was my worst call out. In testing, this card was great because it's the protector of people. We were thinking about the Gogeta build that Hedy played in the US with the Goku Junior and Vegeta Junior Unison. In testing, that build was insane. Like, it really pushed high numbers early in the game, and this card helped that matchup a lot. But in the Europeans, we didn't really play that build. We just played the standard Gogeta Xeno, Gogeta GT build. So this card ended up being dead most of the time. It was my worst call out. But well, it's a negate, and if you ever end up in the swarmy meta, this card will be great. But now for another spicy tech, internal energy shift. So this card is an old one from, this one's from the box 2, which is a negate.
Okay.
And then it does the Yobun effect where you reveal the top card of the deck. If it's a battle card, you get to untap 1 energy and untap 1 battle card. So the line you usually do, it's either any of these 2. On the first swing, you block something. It doesn't matter with which, but you prefer to block with this one because it's very. You block with one of them, you negate with shift, which allows you to untap a blocker. So this shift is a 0 energy negate 2 swing. It's great value for it, and mitigating 3 combat is really good. And that works. It's a 1 cost negate, which you can use early in the game to negate any swing that you feel that might threaten you. 2 Senzu Beans, I should have played more. My reasoning was that I would mitigate combat most of the time, so I wouldn't want to deactivate battle, defensive and tap. But I ended up seeing myself a lot on 1 energy because I wanted to play around Crown. So doing on defense Senzu and Realm of the Gods or just coming at 10k would really help a lot. So a swap I would clearly do once extra Senzu Bean for 1 protector of people. But outside of that, it's Senzu Bean. We're seeing this card for 18 sets now, so there's not really much to talk about him. And 2 Dirty Birds.
Yeah, mandatory,
Yeah, you're playing blue, you're playing Dirty Birds. I hate to play this card, but you have to do it, because sometimes you will just lose to random boss monster. Usually, if you were setting up a Dirty Birds turn, try to leave 3 energy up, if you're able to, because that way you get to play around Crown and still have 1 energy to defend yourself. If they play Crown, just shotgun Dirty Birds, then tap out. That's not really a good idea in my opinion, because now you're tapped out. You're forced to spark the magic. Now you're getting opened up for the King Vegeta counter negates. But even if they don't have the counter negate, they already took one life, and your shotgun Dirty Burst didn't do anything. They can just pressure with rush attacks, go tens, the 4 drops. They're all open with anything. You're the one who committed something. And to finish off, 2 token negates standard. It's good to play around the 5-3 double strike range. So play 2, it's fine.
Nice.
For the side deck, the typical extra Dirty Burst. If you're playing against Gogeta, you will side. Even if they end up siding their Gogeta 8s in response of your Dirty Burst, respecting that card is always good. Because the games will usually end up with them on a corner where you need to answer that Gogeta with Dirty Burst, even if it's not the optimal play. See it as a desperate measures that when they play it, and you get your answer. So the third copy is really good. The anti-end control package. This deck does not draw lots, even if end control is not present in the meta. If you're going to a big event, you need to respect end control.
Yes.
Because it's an for this deck is an instant lose if you get paired against it. So the 5 sideboard cards just makes you not have to worry about it. It sucks that you will lose 5 sideboard slots, but it's better than to get a free lose. Foshin.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Yep. It's the new sideboard bomb. This card, it's cool in this deck because it's a cantrip, so it works as a Z energy. You do not need to pay blue Z energy, you just need to have a blue battle card on your drop area to ramp. So you can use this as a Z energy, and to pay its Z energy cost, as long as you have a blue battle card there, you're fine. And also has the 7 or higher floodgates thing. It's great against Exodia, and sometimes it's good against Sin if you're on the play, because you get to play 1 on turn 2, and on turn 3 you can play Shin, play and you still have 3 energy. Now you ramp with Wiz going to 4, then you awaken, and now you have the floodgate to protect you, but you're still at 4 energy. It's great to do that. I played also 3 Mr. Booneygates.
Okay.
This is usually a 1-drop gate that's on a body, so you can always combo him for Z energy. And in some matchups where you feel the need of extra negates, it's good to put him in. But he also has a really useful floodgate effect, where if your opponent has 2 or less energies, when you negate with this card, they cannot swing at you with 2 or less battle cards unless they top deck cards. So this is good to stop the Sin Nova and the dragon that I don't really know the name. Pressure turn. It also eats the rush attacks on that turn, and it's and outside of those turns, it's a vanilla 1 cost negate. So it's never really that bad. And to finish off, Princess Force.
Oh.
This card is great at sealing games. Like as soon as you get ahead, and then you waste a lot of negates, and your fuel starts going out, you can play SS4, bounce all their boards, and top decks have a really hard time player on this floodgate. And also, it's a good out to barrier decks, for example, Apeku, or anything that's really, I think Trunks Vegeta. Yes, Trunks Vegeta has a lot of barrier as well. So yellow most of the time. This is a Kale on the barrier removal spot. That's floodgates as a nail. Yeah, if you play this on 5 energy, and then you don't die, you just go into Vegeta and do blue nonsense.
Yeah, and if you pair it with Turning the Tide, for example, if you manage to pull it off, you basically just won. You just shuffle their entire field.
Exactly. It shuffles all their board back, so it's a good card to have on sideboard in my opinion. And since this deck will either be playing really slow or doing a bullshit combo, this card works better than Kale in my opinion. And yes, this is the deck, sideboards.
Nice. So you came really prepared, because there were a lot of red decks on. Well, I mean, I think all of us expected a ton of red decks to show up at this championship. Yeah, but like I'm glad to see Beerus. I've been telling people that the new Wiz Z battle card for Beerus is just insane.
The card is really, really insane.
Yeah,
like as soon as more 4 drops, we get better 4 drops. Talking about the next format, where Blitz and Boo will not be really that good. I think this deck will not be very strong on the next format. But as soon as we get stronger 4-drops, this card is insane. Turbo.
Nice.
It's a turbo card for your 4th turn. It's the only deck that's allowed to do that. And this card also comes up at mid and late game. If you have no idea what you are doing in your turn, most of the time you will just slap 1 or 2 whiz and call it a day.
Nice. So, before we end the video, do you have any shoutouts?
Shoutouts to the Portuguese community, all my teammates. They helped me test a lot. I'm the blue guy, and unfortunately, I'm one of the rare blue players in Portugal. Our community isn't really that big, but we stick together and test a lot. So thanks to everyone tested with me and supported me on all of the events.
Nice. Congratulations on topping with Beerus. Guys, this has been The Deck. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.
Bye-bye.